Do you find that your interpersonal relationships are damaged by conflict? Do you like to avoid conflict altogether and just run away? Or are you in there, boots and all? Well, stick with me, because in this week's episode, I'm going to show you how to use the conflicts in your relationships to strengthen them. Hi, this is Grant Herbert, Emotional Intelligence Speaker and Trainer of the Year and Master Coach Trainer. And today I want to continue our conversation around interpersonal effectiveness by helping you to understand that conflict creates collaboration. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about interpersonal effectiveness. We started the month by talking about it all starts with you, the relationship that you have with yourself. And particularly as we go into this final part of this topic today, that needs to be restated. Because it's what you make things mean when people speak to you about you that can really send things off the rails or propel you into great relationships. We talked about the things that were harmful, those roadblocks that would stop you from having great interpersonal effectiveness. And we talked last week about it being okay for everybody to have an opinion, and that just because someone had an opinion that was different to you doesn't make you wrong. So conflict comes when we fail to work on those things we've already gone through. So what I want to do now is just wrap it up with a 5-step process that you can go through to help you to be able to navigate conflict in a healthy way so it actually becomes something that's positive in your relationships rather than negative. You see, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, conflict itself is an opportunity for conversation. It's an opportunity for you to learn new things and go beneath the surface in any relationship. So when we look at conflict as having some benefit when it's navigated in a healthy way, then we can go through what I'm going to teach you now and use it to your advantage. So let me just talk about what we're going to do here in these 5 steps. We're going to look at how to approach conflict and how to then navigate it with another person. When you follow this process, and I love the word process because it's a logical thing that you're going to do, then you will be able to have much different results than what you might be having now. The first thing we need to do is set the scene. So this is all about setting boundaries and ground rules, where both you and the other person talk about how we're going to work through this disagreement. So setting those boundaries as to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable behaviour is really, really important. The second thing is to gather information. Once again, because it's information, we're using a logical process in our brain rather than going down into the emotion of it, which has the tendency, if we are low in our personal power, to take things personally. So we're just gathering information. What do you think? What do I think? Getting it down. It's all a logical process. We're not talking about whether it's right or wrong or different. We're just gathering information. To do this, it's all about asking questions. And in fact, more questions than making statements. We talked about last week how sometimes what people do is state their opinions as facts. And when you do that, that creates a barrier. So in gathering information, we want to do it in a casual way that says, hey, I want to understand more around what you feel in this situation. Tell me more. Just by being curious says that you want to work together. It's not you standing over and dictating what it is that you believe. Now that we've gathered all the information, the third step is to agree on the problem. So what we're doing is incrementally here getting points of agreement. So we agreed that there is an issue. Now we're going to go deeper and agree what the actual problem is. We're not going to solve it just yet. We're going to agree that there is a problem that we both believe exists. by getting this incremental agreement, it's moving forward together. Number 4 is to brainstorm possible solutions to the problem. So by working together and collaborating on what could we do to solve this problem, the one that we both agree exists, then that working together is where we're going to be strengthening the relationship. Because we agree on something and we are working towards a common goal. At this point, we're just throwing in scenarios. What do you think we could do? Here's what I think we could do. Putting those all together, and we're just laying those out on the table. Number 5 then is to negotiate calmly around the solution. So now that we've brainstormed and we've got a number of solutions there, we negotiate which is the actual solution that we're going to use here. By going through that process rather than just hitting point 5 straight up, we've worked together, we've collaborated. Now, we don't live in a perfect world. So as I say all the time, we're not always going to get the exact outcome we want. However, when we go through and navigate conflict with somebody in this way, we've got a much better chance of eliminating the roadblocks and the problems that we had before. Conflict is something that can strengthen a relationship. It's healthy. It's like making mistakes. They're great. We learn from them. Conflict goes beneath the surface, allows you to find out more about each other, what you value, what it is that is important to you. And by working on those things together with respect, agreeing that it's okay for you both to have an opinion, you are going to be able to have a much better relationship with that person. So there you have it. 5 steps that you can go through to incrementally build trust and to get agreement so that you can turn conflict into collaboration. Well, that's it from me for another week. Join me again next week as we continue our conversation, where I'm going to start a whole new series that will help you to empower yourself to be able to get the results that you want. I'll see you then.